All right, welcome everybody. Welcome today. Pastor Jason here, and I'm going to be speaking with Dr. Sipho. If you remember, there's another video, you can watch it, which we shared, where I was speaking to Mr. Lawrence from Abundance Income. So today I've got Dr. Sipho here. Pleased to meet you, Dr. Sipho. We just met a few minutes ago. But what I want to know from you is basically maybe you can tell me a bit about your expertise, which field are you into, so the people can know who is Dr. Sipho, what does she do? Are you a medical doctor? Are you what kind? There's many different kinds of doctors. Yes.
Good question. Thank you, Jason.
Yeah.
My name is Sipho Moyo,
Right.
and I am an economist. I'm an economist by training.
Okay.
I've been working in international civil service for close to 30 years.
Wow.
I'm retired now.
Okay.
And so now I'm just doing my own things, and I came across Mr. Lawrence recently. Yes. He's father of a good friend of mine.
Right.
Her name is Stella De Silva.
Yes.
So she's who he comes to visit when he comes here. And we struck a conversation, and he started talking to me about Abundance Incorporated.
Okay.
And I got really excited.
Right.
I got really excited because I've always known that real estate is probably the best investment bet that anybody can get into. Yes. But I had never really looked at it at the same level that he introduced me to. So I got really, really excited. Right.
So what I wanted to know, maybe you can help the viewers, they're not aware of this. I've also worked in real estate, so I understand that. But some people are not aware of what passive income is, because when I interviewed Mr. Lawrence, he said one of his major regrets in life is that he kept working for money instead of letting money work for him. So maybe with your expertise in economics and that, you can just briefly tell people what is this about passive income. Is it a scam? Some people think it's a scam. They believe they have to work 9 to 5. What do you have to say about that?
Yes. Well, that's a really good question. Passive income is exactly what it sounds like. It's income that you make while you're literally asleep. It's income that you're not having to get up and go to the office for every day. So it's a result, it's really the outcome of good investment portfolio. Right. It's really the outcome of good investments, basically. So, and real estate is your classic example of passive income because it grows, it appreciates, it never really goes down.
Yes.
And you can bet your last dollar on real estate.
Okay.
Yes.
So maybe I can ask you, seeing as you have, you seem to know quite a bit about this. Have you benefited from any form of passive income? Have you done any of this?
Yes.
Real estate?
Yes, I have. Yes, I have. But I think, regrettably, not as much as looking back as I should have. Yes. I'll say I got into real estate really because I think my father really was sort of the guiding hand,
the driving force,
my involvement in
right.
Real estate. I bought my first property, my first flat. Americans will call it apartment. I bought my first flat at the age of 21.
Okay.
Yes, at the age of 21. And, I've never looked back, that flat is still there.
It's still generating income.
It's still generating.
So it is possible for someone to be sleeping at home and getting paid.
There you go.
Okay, it's not a scam.
It's not a scam.
It's not a scam. Just for people to know. All right. And then maybe something else which I wanted to know is, can this work in Africa? Because maybe the people are not aware. If you want to share that, or maybe just to let them know that you have worked abroad and you're from Africa, if I'm correct. Yes, you're from Africa. So can this work in Africa? Because we've got Mr. Lawrence, he's coming from America, and people will be like, well, that's America. There's no way I can benefit from there. Is it possible for people in Africa, Zimbabwe, South Africa, Nigeria, can they benefit from this, or is this just something for the Americans?
Actually, it can work everywhere.
Right.
Just a little bit of background. I've lived on 4 continents.
Okay.
I've lived in 12 countries.
Wow.
And when I look around, you know, in all of the places that I've lived in, not to mention even the places I've visited in, people who bought properties or who own properties or invest in properties in any of those places I've lived in, you know, I'm talking about friends, colleagues, people that I worked with, you know, people that I worked with in Tunisia, in North Africa, in West Africa, in Italy, colleagues or friends or, you know, neighbors, people who bought properties in all those places are still reaping passive income from all of those properties. Yes. So, it doesn't matter where they moved to, it doesn't matter what they're doing today, but those properties are still giving them income today. So this is not a scam. This is something that will work really perfectly in Africa. And I think what is lacking in a lot of cases is the education, the knowledge, the information, you know, about how to get into these investments. And the concept that Mr. Lawrence is talking about is really exciting because it doesn't really require you to be a millionaire to get started. You know, you start small. You know, the Bible says, "Despise not small
humble
beginnings." Yes. You know, so you can start with very sort of humble resources.
Because that was the next question which I wanted to ask you, to say that if someone is saying, okay, you've worked internationally, you've got the finances, but Mr. Lawrence was speaking of something, maybe you've spoken to him a bit on this, where he was saying even if someone has got no funds to invest, there is a way in which they can be helped. Like I heard you speaking of education. Because as Africans, we know about inflation, and the banks are not giving any money. So they'll be like, how am I going to get money? And inflation is eating up all my money. So just maybe briefly tell us, I know we will speak with Mr. Lawrence about that, but what did he speak to you about this? Why did he draw you to say this can work for anyone in Africa?
Fantastic. Brilliant question. And that's a point that I think we really need to emphasize. And the point is, it's a business model. He's got a business model that he wants to work with. And the business model is this. Anybody, young people, old people, you know, young guys, yourselves, you know, anybody. This is more of, like I said, it's a business model. It's about forming, you know, a group, an association, or whatever you want to call it, you know, of people coming together and working together. And an example of this is a young guy, you know, 21 years old, doesn't really have any, you know, income that's just lying around for him to buy properties, really just, you know, living from hand to mouth and trying to just keep, you know, things going. He comes into the project, works with us, and the way he would draw his own income, for example, is fair enough, he can't afford to invest in a property. But he's got a neighbor, he's got a brother, he's got an uncle.
And with Africa, there's people in the diaspora.
Yes, exactly.
Everyone has someone overseas.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
So he's got somebody or a number of people who are able to invest. And so he spreads the word, brings them into the fold. They get excited and they buy into the program. And buy into the program, by the way, let me be clear, is not a joining fee or anything.
No joining
fee. What I mean by buying into the program is investing directly into the properties, the syndications that Mr. Lawrence
and these people will be educated as well.
Exactly.
They'll learn more about real estate.
Spread the word, get people in. And when he brings his 2 or 3 uncles or cousins or friends or neighbors, he gets a referral fee. So there's something for everyone.
There's something for everyone.
Yes, there's something for everyone. And that referral fee continues to work for him. It's not a one.
So it can be passive income for him as well.
Yes, it's also an investment. 20 years down the road, he'll still be earning something from the investment that he brought in. On the ground floor.
That's awesome. So there's a way to beat inflation, guys, in Africa or Asia, wherever you're from. Just one last question, which I wanted to ask you, Dr. Sipho. Any wise words? Because you've got all this experience. You've told me you've lived on 4 continents. from all that, I know you've said a lot, but just something which maybe is on your heart now, which you want to share with the people, to say, just some words of wisdom.
Words of wisdom.
Yeah.
I say, well, first word of wisdom, from a practical point of view, is I think people should take this very seriously,
right,
and see it as an opportunity.
Right.
See it as an opportunity. There's
Right.
absolutely nothing to lose and everything to gain.
Everything to gain.
But I think, on a more sort of fundamental level, I think we need to have a different mindset.
Right.
And the mindset
Right.
is about investing for future generations. So we should always think about our investments in terms of how do they benefit our children and our children's children.
Right.
The Bible says a wise man leaves
an inheritance for his children's children.
And children's children.
Okay.
You're the grandson of a wise man, I'm
Yes.
sure. So
Yes.
you know what I'm talking
Yes.
about. So I think that's what I would say.
Okay.
And if we can have that change or shift in mindset,
Right.
it's a real game changer.
Right. Okay. So this is it. You've heard here from Dr. Sipho. She's from Africa, and she's been abroad, and she's seen the success of passive income and real estate. And exactly like what you said, one of the wisest words is your mindset. So as you come, you will learn more on this. So thank you so much, Dr. Sipho. It was a pleasure meeting you
Lovely talking
and
to you,
interviewing you.
Sipho.
Thank you so much. Okay.